tracking ROI.
Yeah.
What can SEOs do in GA4 to track ROI to a point that it's enough data for them to go to the C-suite to get more budget?
Yeah. So the big one, I mean, obviously in that advertising section, and most SEOs are never going to go in there unless they listen to this podcast. So listen to this podcast, dang it. In the advertising section is where all the attribution data lives. I don't know why they call it advertising. It has nothing to do with ads. It's all attribution data is in there. So you can use the um uh attribution model comparison. You can look at the multi-touch stuff. But basically in there, it gives you a number. So if you've assigned a value to a conversion, it'll give you a number as to like, Google organic traffic contributed to X% of conversions. Same thing with in that multi-touch, and you can go into that multi-touch or the conversion path and filter for organic. And then you can see all of the conversion paths as well. So an instance where this would be really helpful, especially for SEOs, is like, let's say you're being found through social media for whatever reason, and then people come to the site organically, and maybe they sign up for a newsletter, so then they're coming back to the site through email and ultimately converting. So what happens is we have like a first touch acquisition, which is user acquisition. And then we have kind of like a last touch acquisition, which is that session. And those reports are easily accessible in the reporting section, right? So it would say, okay, Facebook led to this conversion. And then you would look at the session report and it would say, oh, email led to this conversion. But organic is completely left out of the puzzle there, even though it was one of the touch points. That's why it's really important to go into that conversion path, filter for organic, and then you could go to C-suite and say, hey, listen, I know that we're not seeing like direct correlation between organic and revenue, but if you look at it, we're actually a really essential part of like the middle touch points, and maybe people are coming in and doing more research before they sign up for an email that offers them 20% off, and then they convert, right? Like that report's really big, or like using that section's really big. Another thing that I get a lot of my clients to do is create. So in GA4, you can create custom audiences based off sequences. So you can say somebody comes to the site and visits a blog page, and then you can say it indirectly. So at any point after that, they convert. Then you can say, all right, this user visited a blog post and then converted. Obviously, we were a part of that that user journey. And when you create an audience in GA4, you have the ability to fire an event when somebody's added to the audience. And so that's a really good way to have a metric to go to whomever and say, all right, we had, of the 100 conversions we had this month, 20 of them visited a blog post before they converted. So that's like 20% of all of our conversions visited one of the pieces of content that we created before converting.